Considering the potential impact on your organization, what pricing model, one time, monthly subscription, blah, 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 would you find the most appealing for the training that we've described?
Um, this is a good question in the current context because in professional services, whether it's learning and development or law or finance or other realms of consulting, there are different models emerging. Whether that's a set fee underneath a bronze, silver, and gold. Let's say you invest this much, you get X. If you invest this much more, you get X plus and X plus plus. Is a model that some are buying into now. My personal experience is that the per diem rate is on its way out, and it's more a value-based rate, which is coming into it, which might then include not just the learning that I'm doing, but immersing myself more into the business to work with individual leaders as a coach before and afterwards, or to learn more about their business so that I can actually talk their language, not my language of what my course tells me to say, but the language of my customer. And that can really drive increased value from a learning
Mhm.
output perspective, and also sort of in the actionable areas of where I, as a consultant, can contribute also as an outsider
Mhm.
to the business thinking, either strategically or operationally in terms of implementation.
Okay, so I want to understand what you mean by value-based rate. Before I ask you the question, though, by value-based rate, would you equate that with performance-based pricing, or is it something different?
That has been tried in our industry, which is sort of learning and development, but it's very
Hmm.
hard to prove. So if
Hmm.
after a course suddenly the business jumps by 30% and I'm the trainer on a bonus saying, oh well, that's all me because they just went on a course with me, it's nonsense, absolute nonsense. Yeah, there might be a contribution to it, but it's lots of different factors: the change in mindset and behavior, how the line managers are, what's happening in the rest of the organization. So I don't think that can be there. Therefore, my value-based approach, as I'm talking about, is for me to be much more invested in their business so they can feel freer and more secure and happier to invest in me in theirs.
Okay, so then it's absolutely not performance-based pricing. So I've never heard value-based rate. I can guess, but I'm not really certain what you mean by that. Can you tell me what you mean by value-based rate?
Yeah, that's the amount I'm doing per buck spent, if you like, to bring
Okay.
it down right down to its bare bones. So if you hire me as a trainer, let's say, I don't know, for presentation skills, let's say,
Hmm.
and it's half a day. Okay, my day rate is X. So I'm going to charge you that and maybe a little bit of preparation if we're doing it. But what I'm saying is that I would probably charge you higher than that. I'll
Hmm.
charge you this, but here's what else comes with me doing that. So, for example, I will observe 2 or 3 presentations of those either coming into the class or of the organization and see where the kind of the bench is. We can do some assessment up front. We can do some interviews with people who are coming onto the course to provide some real-time feedback. Post course, I can be as coach to help them prepare their next presentation and deliver it with impact, passion, and engagement so that there are real measurables. So the overall value
Hmm.
delivery of what I'm doing is not just an evaluation that says I really enjoyed that course. I enjoyed that course. I got so much out of it, and I absolutely nailed that. And we brought in X, Y, or Z. That is the
Right.
value based approach.
So it's based on their assessment of the value they got from the course.
More collaboratively than that, and it's
Okay.
easier for those customers that you might work with time and time again. And then there is a bit of trust and faith that comes into if it's a new customer from both sides.
Hmm.
Let's try and work with each other. It might not be at the highest level yet, but let me prove that I can add the value. But you also have to recognize that I'm going to make some extra effort here as well. So I'm not going to discount this price. I'm not going to go here.
Right.
And you've got to believe in the value that you do, much like they would believe with their customers that they can offer value, and their new customers that they will deliver their promises.
I'm really interested in that pricing model. I want to learn more about it. So the final one is, who do you know who could benefit or would be willing to interview with myself for this very interview, whose questions are, as much as I'm going to do it, try to make them dynamic to what's already been said, but be brave enough to ask the same question because it was really beneficial, especially for this last one.
I would say one of the partners I work with, because he operates from Bangkok, so he's in your region, so he gets very much operates there from within this industry, called Paul Marks. So he's on LinkedIn. He's a qualified high-end coach. He does a lot around transformational leadership too, and he has a really good eye across the globe, and particularly in Asia.
Awesome. So then I'll ask, because this is the way I like to do this. Could you do me the favor of putting us in like a three-way chat saying, hey,
Yeah,
Paul,
yeah.
this is Tim. I think they're just a really superb pathway to that introduction, because it's not, by the way, so-and-so sent me. It's like, I would imagine there's some unscrupulous people doing that. That's not what I would do. But I could just go, oh, look, yeah, no, Bob Sutton's in. Oh, yeah, Bob Sutton, who is a Stanford professor and famous author, sent me to talk to you. If it was true, then I should say it. But having Bob Sutton do that, and he hasn't, I know him, but about this much, I would rather just have the person do the introduction, because then the credibility is never in question. It's just like, yeah, I
Yeah.
am putting my name behind this guy. So thank you so much. It was an awesome interview. I will ping you when it's up. This is my third or fourth interview in the last couple of days, so I don't know exactly when that's going to happen, because
Yeah.
this has almost been overwhelmingly successful, delightful, but boy, has it made me busy. Thank you so
I
much,
bet it
Jeremy.
has. So you're going to edit this down a little bit, are you?
Oh yeah, like, I mean, I'll probably chop out silences and anything,
Okay.
mostly my stumbling. Yeah, actually I've thought of this, and I'm just curious if you have a couple minutes by the looks of it. I want to ask you this question, and this is more just you and me talking, and that is, what I've thought of doing is editing sort of for premium. That is, right, I'm going to start with your introduction, blah blah blah, and then doing like movie outtakes, sort of like, here's the core complete interview, here are the outtakes, if assuming they have any value, like what I'm talking about now, probably
Yeah.
not. Just put it in on the end, so it's like, grab their attention with the beginning, right, that, trim off the social stuff, and then put that on the end, because oftentimes it does contain stuff. And when we're talking about the human connection and other things, it's like, that's of interest if they're invested, but you got to get the hook first. And then it's like, here's some extra stuff if you choose to watch it, like the appendix in a book. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I'd look at it completely the other way around, actually. And I get what you're saying, but actually it gives you a much greater opportunity to sell if you have little 30-second bites or 1 minute bites out of the interview that you then share on social media before you launch the actual episode, that said, the whole thing is coming, but here's some short bites that go into it, talking about X, Y, or Z. And then you can then choose, say, look, I'm going to launch it in two halves, let's say, maybe, or even at the same time. But it gives you a great opportunity, I think, and it's something that I don't do myself because I just don't have time. And I got so much, as you know, with the podcast that I did, and the podcast that I did with you particularly, there's so much gold in there that I could see that there's 8 or 9 brilliant little sound bites that I could come out and do a post
Mm-hmm.
on. I say, here's what Tim says about X. The full interview is here, so you can keep selling it if you like, and
I
you
love
can
that.
attract different people in different ways.
So I would like to recommend a piece of software to you, and there is no financial interest in me, but
Yeah.
check out DaVinci Resolve 18.5. It is a video editor, but it's, if you need transcription, it is by far the best transcription engine I've ever seen. And
All
precisely for
right.
what you're talking about, like, you're talking about these golden clips. I'm not sure I have time either, but I can drop this interview into that program. And if my computer had any guts, and it doesn't, but in like 18 minutes, it can give me all the transcript and do the same as a separate function. So this would be 2 clicks. one for the transcript, another one for the subtitles, and you can
Yeah.
actually take the transcript and you can click one button and say, remove silences. Then you append
Yeah.
that onto your timeline, and all the silences literally have been removed from your video. So if we had pauses, literally any pauses, let's say you could go, oh, well, there's 3 minutes and 27 seconds in this interview of pauses. It would just look at it, use the transcription, remove all the silences, cut it, put it together, and it's finished.
Awesome. DaVinci Resolve 18.5.
Right. It's the Studio Edition 295 American. That's lifetime. They're actually scaring the shit out of Adobe, who's now approaching people doing videos. Why I've left Adobe for DaVinci Resolve, to actually basically romance them back to the office to get feedback, to maybe even save their company, because that's how scared they are of what DaVinci Resolve has done for a one-time lifetime fee, rather than this overpriced thing for a bloated piece of software that's really unstable. And DaVinci is unbelievably, it should not even run on my system, because my system is so low powered right now. Like I need to upgrade all the hardware, that they would say, sorry, but you probably shouldn't be able to run this. But it runs, it just takes longer. So please check it out. It'll maybe redefine the game in terms of your transcription, which I know is a big issue for any of these episodes.
It totally is. You're absolutely right there. But thank you very much for having me. Anyway, Tim,
Thank you
to go
so
in a
much.
minute anyway.
It's been a delight. I know you
but
do.
Yeah, keep me posted.
I will. Take care. Bye,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
take it easy. Enjoy your next ones. I'll connect you with Paul.
Okay, thanks very much. Bye, Jeremy.